I rushed.
Welcome to another segment of Points of Interest. I'm Demetrius Minor.
And I'm the co-host, Joey Traina. And welcome to our November 2nd, 2011 30-minute segment. Again, this is what, our second 30-minute show?
This is our second 30-minute segment, and we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, let's see if we can fill that time. Actually, let's start out with some local news here.
Absolutely.
Pretty disturbing this last couple days, week, with local violence involving young people. Again, these young Augustins are in the news again. And one of the most disturbing was the story about the 14s and the 11-year-old. I believe it was on yesterday's Chronicle front page, telling us about in Grovetown a home invasion involving these 14s, and at least 2 of them were armed, and no one was physically injured, but obviously a home invasion is traumatizing and shouldn't be happening.
Trespassing of personal property, personal belongings, and I mean, obviously, invading that person's personal space and having the feeling of anxiety and unsafety.
Right. And that's of course, it's terrible for those that were involved, but it's something that we shouldn't be hearing about locally. And
You're absolutely
right. I mean, an 11-year-old involved in these activities now.
We need to check and see what they're serving in these lunch cafeterias, because obviously it's making these
they're either not getting enough of something,
right,
or they're getting too much of something else. And I think we could try and extrapolate whether it's media or the economy or where these people grow up, or whether they have mentors or they go to church, what have you. I mean, we can make different judgment calls on this, but when this kind of thing is happening, and then on top of that, we had also on Halloween there was in Aiken. A young kid, I'm blanking on the age, but apparently he pulled out a gun on somebody who said they wanted to get his candy. And the person that said they wanted his candy said they were joking about it. But,
there's some things you joke about and there's some things you don't joke about. And when it comes to people's
clear
safety,
about that.
you need to be very clear and very careful.
But the kid was out there with a gun. I mean, it was, and it wasn't loaded, but he had the ammunition, and it wasn't. He didn't have permission to have it, obviously.
So here's the question: how did he get access to the gun?
Right. That's always the question we ask after the fact.
Right. Was the gun in a very secure location? He just so happened to, intrude upon that, or was it open? To I guess to where he can get it. I guess now the question that's probably looming in people's minds is, how do the parents keep track of their personal belongings? Especially items like that.
I mean, you have these minors, you have the kids that were involved in the home invasion. Their names obviously aren't being given out to the public to protect them, but to protect their identity, but also they're minors. Somebody is supposed to be responsible for them.
Not this minor.
Not that minor, absolutely different minor. And no one's responsible for you. No one can.
I do it on my own, I guess.
Exactly. But these kids, I mean, somebody is supposed to be somebody should be held responsible for these kinds of things, and I think that's probably part of the problem is nobody really is being held accountable.
Right.
And so nobody's coming down on them, and they feel like they have this freedom, and and then there was in Greenbrier. There was Greenbrier High School. There was the issue with the apparently bullying again too far, taken too far, and so there were threats made on a person's life or their health, and the only reason we know about it, the only reason they didn't escalate is because one of the kids had enough brains to go to the authorities or tell somebody, outside the situation.
And I think that's something that we probably need to advocate more against is bullying. I know a lot of organizations, and I actually applaud the White House on this effort. The White House, the Atlanta Braves organization, many other organizations have come out against bullying. And I know sometimes people may look at it on the surface and be like, well, there's other pressing issues more important than that, or they might toss it aside. But, if we need to, we're training and we're equipping our children in this generation to be leaders in the 21st century, then we need to advocate respect for one another, despite our differences.
Right.
And bullying, it really affects the psyche of the individual, Joey.
And it's cyclical. If you get bullied, you are likely to become a bully.
Right.
And that's
it's like a trickle down.
And that kind of negativism. I think it's all connected with these local happenings. I mean, and these young people getting involved in violent or negative behavior. I mean, we're obviously either, like I said, not giving them something, or giving them too much of something else, where this violent behavior is filling in and taking over, and they find it acceptable. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't see anything wrong with it. Anyway, we don't have all the answers, but we will try to bring it up, and we'll try to bring awareness to these things because it's important. It's impacting us. I mean, they're not that much younger than us. We're not that much older than them. You know, they're not that far.
We're in that same vicinity.
Ahead of generation, you know, necessarily. So, you know, if we don't handle it now, we don't deal with it now, if we don't advocate strongly for it, you know, the right way. Exactly, yeah. So, in any case.
And especially because, another note on bullying, I think it affects the education system. When you're being bullied, when you're being picked on, you know, you're so focused on your self-conscious that it could deter your focus on the subject.
Well, it affects the atmosphere. Yeah,
exactly.
If you're worried about your safety, your protection. I mean, what was Maslow's hierarchy? I'm getting into psychology now, but you know, if you have to worry about, you know, your next meal, you're not worried about whether you're treating people well. Right. Or if you're, you know, if you're paranoid about your safety, then you're not worried about the content, you know, the English, your math, your science, you're reading. And so yeah, so I mean, public safety, you know, whatever we got to do with in public education, you know, or you know, any education to ensure the safety, so that, you know, the books, the reading, the learning, their futures can really be more important than you know, whether somebody said something about them, right? You know, or this, you know, this drama.
And I can connect with that because in middle school and high school, I mean, I was bullied. I got picked on a lot, and what I wanted to do to make myself feel more secure and to make myself feel more accepted among my peers and my classmates, you're right. You know, I try to do it on other people. You know, because, you know, people who are getting bullied and picked on, they don't want to be by themselves. You know, misery loves company. You know, they're going to pass it along to other people as well. And we're right. It affects the atmosphere of the classroom. It affects the teacher. It affects the people around them. And it's hard to promote education and learning when they don't have the respect of their fellow classmates.
Yeah. And I think I don't know where else we can apply blame or point the finger, or at least, you know, try to focus more energy onto. But I really don't know other place other than the parents, you know, because when kids are addressing other kids in a way, in a negative way, it's like, where do you get that from? I mean, you could say you could blame it on the radio or TV or what have you. But ultimately, I think it's, you know, it's the responsibility of parents or the other adult mentors in that person's life.
That child's surroundings, that child's environment. Yeah. The question is, what is influencing that child the most? Yeah. And, you know, in a lot of cases, Joey, children come to school as a way of an escape from a possible hostile environment at home, where it could be some domestic issues. Lack of parenting, lack of role model, or maybe they're getting bullied at home. You never know if they're getting bullied by a parental figure or a relative. We don't know. So sometimes they come to the school.
Yeah, something they're not getting at home, and they feel like they're getting either some sort of acceptance or some sort of reaction, some sort of rise out of people by acting a certain way. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely fall into that. Maybe, you know, maybe we need to give them more things to do. I mean, I'm a big advocate of arts, a big advocate of, you know, extracurricular activities. We have sports, we have all these things. But I mean, if we can give these young people something to do, something constructive, something that isn't all about them or isn't all about the latest fad, you know, maybe we can divert from these antisocial behaviors. But anyway,
speaking of latest fads, if you decide to get married, would it be for more than 72 days?
Man, I mean, we segue right into, you know, pop culture, one of the biggest things that's educating our young people. And we've got, I mean, when we were growing up, I don't know, was there a Kim Kardashian in the world? I don't know. We weren't following these celebrities you know, like every day. And so, yeah, so she does this big wedding for her show. And, you know, you see her face slapped on magazines and whatnot.
Gets a lot of publicity, lots of money.
Yeah.
You're right.
The ring was what, like $3 billion, $1 million? I mean, it was... You get the billions and the millions confused with these celebrities sometimes because they just throw it around all. Anyway, so yeah, so these they get married and then 72 days is over.
So here's the question.
It's the second marriage.
Here's the question. You know, Kim Kardashian, you know, says that, oh, it wasn't about money. You know, I really love this guy. That message that she's sending out, that she's advocating, that's kind of hard to grasp. It's kind of hard to believe when, you know, Hollywood is known about. Is known for failed marriages.
Well, it definitely gets the press. Yeah.
Right, it definitely gets the press. So let me ask, who gets hurt the most, her or him, or both?
Well, what I've heard or read or people have told me is that that he's feeling more remorse. He's feeling confused. He's not understanding why why it's come to this. But I mean that family. I mean, if you watch that show for any amount of time, and I don't think I've sat through an entire Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Yeah. You get the message that these people.
I've never watched a minute of it.
They're not. I mean, they're not interested in. I mean, they're very materialistic.
Yeah, right.
Very materialistic. Very. Very. I mean, the money rules their world and rules them. You know what I mean? And so that's. So it's not a big surprise. I don't think anybody's like shocked. Right. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's not like the Brangelina or something. I don't know. It's not like these other people really hope
right.
if they can make it. Anybody can make it. I don't think that was the case with Kim Kardashian, but
didn't this guy know what he was getting into?
Well, that's what people are saying.
Or was he blindsided?
Yeah, that's what people are saying. That he didn't know. He was just he was in love, or that's what he was saying, and he plopped down for this ring and. But I'm sure it all plays into that. When the cameras are on,
right?
You can be different. You take on a character. You know what I mean? We don't, of course. We're always genuine.
No, we're real. We're surreal.
but then I mean, but yeah. So so things like marriage, things like trust, things like responsibility, those kind of go out the window. When it's all about this money-making venture, which is what that television show is. I mean, you're being sold something.
And it also proves the validity of the point that, can you take Hollywood marriages seriously?
Well, I wouldn't generalize because I'm sure, not everyone who does a movie or is in television has those values.
Right.
Or didn't grow up with stronger values than that necessarily. But no, I don't think we should. I mean, I wouldn't personally put my faith on anybody else's personal business.
I believe it was Khloe Kardashian or maybe Kourtney Kardashian who sent out a tweet and says, "I cannot believe all the mean things people are saying. We love our family." And I'm like, well, you kind of set yourself up for this.
It's and just the way you show it, and,
right? Yeah. And especially when you're in the public spotlight, you're going to get scrutinized, and you're going to take a little heat.
I wish we were talking about other things, more important.
Right.
But they're putting themselves out there. Media's opening up to them. There's a lot of money in it. So you get what you bargain for, and you should know that's what the climate is out there for that.
Really quickly. Would Justin Bieber be singing "Baby, Baby"?
Oh my God. Where did you get that? This was okay. That was. Anyway, yes, baby, baby, baby. Because
some baby mama, baby daddy drama going on.
Yeah, it's looking like, and then this woman who's saying that that he's her 3-month-old's father was she would have been 20 and he would have been 16 whenever they.
Right. So there's some legal issues.
Statutory, right. She might set herself up for some statutory.
My question is, she said it lasted 30 seconds.
Oh,
which
right.
is probably what we have left. Remaining.
Oh, okay.
So actually, we have 2 more minutes. But
so we have to think about that for the next 30 seconds?
No, we don't. 30 seconds. So needless to say, he won't be releasing a single called Stamina.
Oh.
But seriously, what would this do? What would this do? What would this do to his image?
I'm no big Bieber fan, but...
I'm not a Bieber fan either. But what would this do to his image? To his persona?
Image? Well, I mean,
he is innocent until proven guilty. Let's
Bieber... what are these new kids now? Oh my goodness! See, I'm embarrassing myself. I can't even remember the name of these young kids now that are music artists.
Selena Gomez.
Anyway, essentially what they're doing, what Disney does, or what these companies do that take them on, is they are selling us sex in a younger, cuter, more innocent package.
Right.
And so, again, it's no big surprise that you give a 16-year-old all this power, influence, money.
Right.
As talented as you may be.
Right.
For something like this to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's like, again.
30 seconds worth. You're right.
And that's a whole different study that we're not going to get into. But yeah, no, I mean, again, they're selling you sex. I mean, that's what the whole industry is about. The songs, all that. I mean,
sells.
And it sells, so it's going to make the money. So there should be controls or protections for people when they get into this, but you also should be smart enough.
Right.
And so if this really did happen, if the allegations are true, there should be some ramifications. He should make some responsible statements in speaking against,
And speaking of
being
sales,
so irresponsible.
we probably should sell off this subject.
Okay.
Because I think we got a break headed up.
Ready to move on.
We'll be right back after this.
That's it.